Hello, Beez Bladers! Welcome back. Welcome newcomers to the channel. I have a complete charcuterie board of brand new Kizers, every single release for March 2025. And do you like discount codes? I happen to have a very, very nice discount code that is exclusive to the Beez Blades channel. I'll tell you about that here in just a minute, but we're going to get all these out real quick, like tell you about the different steels, the different locking mechanisms, and let's get into it right now. We're going to start out with the Madrick, and I'll tell you this right now, down below, I will have links. There's different places these are sold out and they're available. So I'll have where they're available down there. And then I'll tell you about the discount code here in just a minute because, well, it's a teaser. That's what teasers are for, right? This is the Kizer Madrick. Would you look at it? Just look at it, all of its Madrickness. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and skip through all of the things where I don't have to figure out if it has good ergos and things like that. I've already had these knives out. I've already been checking them out. I've already carried them just a little bit, just enough to get a feel for them. And I'm gonna tell you that the ergonomics on this bad boy are very nice, very, very nice. The overall length of this one is 7.47 inches. You have a 3.1 inch blade. It is the crossbar lock, better known as the clutch lock, because you can get inside here and adjust it. There's 5 different ways. There are 5 different adjustments in there. You can just pop off the scale, adjust this to however springy you like, whatever fits your fancy. Speaking of which, a little bit of Mr. Fancy Pants with the fancy purple pivot collar, the purple pivot collar. Oh, I'm loving it. This is so much fun. I hope you're enjoying this with me because we're going to get rolling. I'm not going to take forever to do this video because we're going to show them all on the live stream this Friday. There is some adequate jimping on the top. It's not overly aggressive, but you know what? It does a pretty good job. The designer is Matteo Pignatelli, and the action on this, it's superb. It's good. I've already checked it out. I don't have any issues with it. That one, this one, same thing. Now this one has that, that really fine linen micarta. Let me give you a little bit of texture vision. There's what that one looks like up close. And then here's what this one looks like up close. Now, if you like the nice feel, the carpety feel, look at that. Oh, yes. This one feels so good in the hand. This is more of my favorite type of micarta. I love it when it feels like this. Now, here's something else. It does have a deep carry clip. It's sitting on top of the scales, and it's reversible. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the blade steel on these bad boys is Nitro V blade steel, which, if you've had any Nitro V, Nitro V is some really good stuff. So you have the option of PVD coated or really nice looking satin. Look at this. And I had this one out at trivia, showing it around the table. And, this is just a perfect everyday carry knife. For a folding knife that you just, have set next to your wallet and you pick up and put in your pocket before you leave the house, or you carry around the house. I mean, I'm always carrying one, but you know what I'm saying. This, I don't have any complaints with it. Everything works very well. And then the fit and the finish, everything is good about them. There's no blade play, there's no lock rock, anything funny like that. They have nice looking thumb studs. I like that you do have the 2 options or the 2 colorways. Look at that. This is a very cool knife. Now let me go ahead and get out the next one. Now we have 4 folding knives and 2 fixed blades, so I'm not gonna take forever. I promise. I told you this. I've told you twice. This is the Kizer Sparrow. Would you look at it? I mean, just look at it and all of its sparrowness. And you know what? This one is another perfect everyday carry. And something else, I don't know if they were listening. I'll take the credit. But they did the jimping right. It has excellent jimping. The jimping's 10 out of 10. Look, they gave it just that perfect amount of aggression. They went down into the spine, so it's actually grabby. So it grabs your skin. This one, both of these are more Mr. Fancy Pants. And you have 2 options. These are your 2 different carbon fibers, and there's 2 different blade steels. So this one kind of has that texture, but it doesn't have the coloration. This one has just very slight purple with just a little bit of that teal popping through. And you can see they have pivot collars that are titanium. And this side, they are titanium frame locks. They're not deep carry. You have enough to actually get it out of your pocket. And you do have a titanium backspacer. There's no lanyard hole, so it's a very clean looking knife. And then your blade steels, look at this. S45VN and 20 CV blade steel, baby. Now that is what I'm talking about. These are designed by Vincent Rizzo. Now, the action, I didn't show you a whole lot of the action on the other one. It's perfect. This, it's easy to flip. It's easy to reverse flick. It has good lockup. They're solid lockup, very smooth. I mean, you can see right here. Now, by the way, this Friday night, Beez Blades live at the Hive. Oh, right. That's when we are going to talk about these knives, and Kizer has given me a 3-day code, a 10% code that's good for 3 days. So if you either come to the live stream or if you don't want to come and hang out, we'll be on there from 8:15 to midnight, after midnight on Friday, the 8th of March. So March 8th. Just look, 8th, 9th, or 10th, you can go to the live stream or the replay of the live stream, and there'll be a link where you can get 10% off all of these new Kizer knives. Now, this one is no different. They're both pretty much identical. They have the same action on them. They have really good lockup. You can see right there. And then the centering is dead on. These are fantastic. And look at this. Kizer, maybe they listed... That's my only hope, is that the jimping, I'm just blown away. They actually have some grabby jimping now. Usually that's my kind of complaint or nitpick, is Kizer needed to upgrade their jimping to actually do its job. This is grabbing my finger. I'm not getting slip off. And by the way, the D10 on this thing, oh, it is so good. Very good action. I have no complaints. You know the size of my hand, right? I have a large size hand, large width glove. It feels, this is a knife I will carry. This will be in my pocket. Not to mention the Madrick. This one is also going to be one that I carry. It's going to be in my pocket. They hit 2 home runs. These are absolute winners. There's nothing to complain about. They're just that good. But I can always give you size comparison things like that when we go to the live stream. And you don't have to be a knife nut or have to know anything. You don't have to have special knowledge to come onto the live stream. You could just come and hang out, and you can lurk. Get the code. We do giveaways. We're probably going to be giving some Kizers away this weekend, I would imagine. You got to come and find out. And well, you know what? This is one of the fixed blades that I'm going to show you. And don't worry about it if I don't give you the specs and the weight and all that kind of thing on these knives, because then you can just click on the links and you can go and get the height and the weight and the width and the blade thickness and all that other fun stuff. Because other than making this a half-hour video, I'm just kind of showing you what they look like and telling you my first impressions that I already have of them. This one is pretty darn good. The jimping is not as strong as the other. Now on this one here, the jimping is a little better because it doesn't have any of that coating. But let me get you a look here, because I'm trying to go fast, but I don't want to go too fast. It's a very nice, very, very nice looking blade. If you've ever seen the Quaken, these are either Nitro V or D2. So there is a budget option. And a couple of these are exclusive to Amazon. And I'll have those links down there. That way you can find them. Now the G10, it's the G10 that I like. Look at that. It has such good texture. It's super grippy. You're not gonna drop this knife at all. You do have a big place back here for a lanyard, or if you need to use that as a persuader type deal. But it's a nice. I mean, take this to a steakhouse. I mean, wow. I mean, you might have to have it, like this. Now it does have this nice, just the typical sheath that's adjustable, and then this dude right here. You can see how this bar slides across, and that's how it locks and unlocks. So that has a really good solid lockup underneath that clip like that, and it's secure, and you can adjust this different directions, but they do have good retention. That all 4 of them have good retention. Now look at this. Here's a micarta version. Look at that. How's that for a little bit of texture? The micarta feels very, very nice. So you have G10 and micarta. You have three different styles for your G10, and then you have this maroon. I imagine that's what you call this color. Sometimes I'm not so good at my colors, but I would call that maroon. But it does have a shadow box look where it's a full tang, and the tang just sets high and low of the scales, and it's a nice slender knife. So if you're a fixed blade lover, Kizer, they've been pumping out some really nice fixed blades. This one has good weight. It's very lightweight. It has a good balance. This is, I wouldn't mind having another version of the folder. I think I've had a Quaken folder one time in the past, but also look at this. Sharpening choil. They did it right. And these aren't super expensive either. Like this one here, I think they're all under 50 bucks. And this one's D2, the Nitro V version, I can't remember. I'm looking at the website right now. The Nitro V version is like 55, and I'll have links to different places you can get this. That way, if you prefer BladeHQ or Amazon, wherever they're available, I'll have them posted up there. Oh, and by the way, this one, it almost feels like it has some type of Cerakote. It has that rough coating to it, and it's the D2, so that's going to protect your D2. Whereas this one here, that is the Nitro V, has more of the PVD coated. So that's definitely something noticeable. They put a lot tougher coating on the Quaken that is D2. Now let's check out the next folder. Oh my gosh. And there's a couple different folders still to go. So I'm going to show one that is, you know, kind of like they brought back a model. They found out, oh yeah, it's going to be popular. So they made it some really cool colors, right? So that would be the Kizer Bulldog. Would you look at it? I mean, just look at it and all of its bulldogness. Now look, if you look at this knife and you think, and your first impression is that's a weird looking knife, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to set that at ease. I had to go wipe this off real quick because I literally had this last night with me when I was eating at a restaurant, and I cut my cheesecake in half with it. I'm trying to eat less, so I was like, I'm cutting it in half, and I'm going to use the brand new Bulldog. So this one, I'm going to tell you right now, this is my preview because I already have the first version that came out. This is so extremely comfortable, you won't believe it. And this is something very cool. See how the knife blade is dropped and your handle is up here? The reason why is it gets your knuckles out of the way so you can actually get down and do some cutting, do some slicing. And check this out. You have this jimping wrapping all the way up, all the way down, and then you have jimping back here or all the way up here so you can get in and do some fine cuts, do a little bit of utility cutting, and it gives you some traction. Now, me personally, this one could have, see how they didn't go as deep into the steel? I wish they would have went a little, grammar alert, I wish they would have gone just a little bit deeper, and yeah, you can make your own comments here. I wish they would have gone deeper just to make it a little more grabby, because if I'm out here, the more grabby that jimping is, the better I'm going to have a really good tactile feel for what I'm doing and not have to concentrate on my finger not slipping. Now, besides that, the ergonomics just melt, absolutely melt in your hand. It is very, very comfortable. That's the thing that screams to me the most is when you put this in your hand, you're like, oh my gosh. You ever get one of those folding knives and you put it in your hand and you're like, holy cow. They actually did some R&D. They actually researched. They actually checked. Because look at these soft edges. It's not overly done. It's pretty neutral, but these bumps work very well. So if your fingers were even bigger, those bumps aren't going to be in the way. And XL hands, you still have enough finger room. You can get back there. If you have big chunky hands, you're still going to be able to use this knife. I really do like it. I like the action. And by the way, this one here also, just to show you, this one also has the clutch lock, so it's adjustable, which is just great if you have neuropathy or arthritis or any one of those things. And the action. Oh, and this wood version, I'm still not 100% sure how to say it. I think it's Nkruti or Karuti wood. You look at the spelling of it and you tell me how to pronounce it. I want someone to tell me. Someone told me on the live stream and I've already forgot. But the action is spot on. It has good detent. The blade doesn't bounce out. I really like how it works, and I like everything about this knife. So if you want a little bit of the wood look, there's that wood. Get you in there. I don't know if you can see the grain of it or not. And I bet if you put a little bit of something, oh yeah. I bet if you just got one drop of mineral oil and put on there, look how dark this would be. Oh yeah, that's what it needs. Just one drop of mineral oil and that will bring out the color. Oh yes, I'm definitely going to do that. Oh, for sure. And here's your back spacer. There's no lanyard hole, and it's a deep carry clip, and look at that. It's setting into the scales. Pretty flat screws, so it's going to go in and out of your pocket real easy with no snags. I appreciate that, but this is a fantastic knife. I mean, I already know. I already have one, and this is just two new versions. You get the micarta or the Karuti wood. So let's check out a fixed blade. And this fixed blade that I'm getting ready to show you, it's pretty darn cool. It has 3 different blade steels to choose from. Comes with a nice Kydex sheath. Same clip as the other one that I showed you, and you can turn it around different directions, but let me show you all 4 versions of this bad boy. This is the Kizer Ursa Major, and this, oh my gosh, it has that classic blade shape to it. oh my goodness, you just want to cut stuff. Look at it. I mean, just look at it. So this right here is micarta, and this is G10. So you have two micarta versions and two G10 versions. And then your blade steels, you have AEBL, you have D2, and then Nitro V blade steel. So here's this one. This one with the gray micarta, look at that. Would you look at it? It's beautiful micarta. This one is the one with Nitro V. This one here with the green G10. This is the AEBL, Steve, the steel. And this one is the AEBL. And then this one is the D2. So whatever your preference is, you have the preferences, not only the look, but you know, I can see people that want different color combos. I always see this happen. They'll get the steel they want, but the handle they want. They'll buy two and then do a swap ski, which is definitely an option. And these range from about $59 to $79. And just taking a quick look ski, look at that. I mean, it's just a gorgeous blade. The top of the spine, you could use this on a ferro rod if you want to. It is nice and 90 degree-ish. You could get some good scrapage. The jimping is moderate jimping. It's absolutely adequate. I can't complain. I can't nitpick it. It's grabbing. It's doing its job. This is a comfortable knife in the hand. Now, if I'm going to find nitpicks, really looking for them, this isn't one. They did a good chamfer on the top, along the scales that are by the spine to the top of the spine. Now down here, if you'll notice, they didn't chamfer that off. I mean, this is a wide chamfer, but then right here at the edge, it's very boxy. It's very 90 degrees. So, you know, if you were doing some pushing, that's when you might notice it more. But for this, using it more in the hammer grip or using it for batoning or anything you might do, I don't think that's going to really bother you or be an issue. You know, in the hammer grip, it's absolutely perfect. And it's not a heavy knife either. These look like big chonkers, but when you look at the weight and look at the size and what you get, it's kind of surprising. I believe they weigh right around 5.5 ounces, and overall they're 9.13 inches. Your blade length's 4.43 inches. So all you guys that are always saying, hey, when you're going to give me a blade that's more than 4 inches, well, now you got your options. And then back here on the pommel, you do have, this looks like this might fit a 1/4 inch bit. You could actually use that as a bit driver, I betcha. Or it might be big, I don't know. That's the nice thing about, you know, you can go and look at the description, all that stuff's going to be in there. And you have two options here for lanyards. So this is for a fixed blade. Oh my gosh. These are very nice. And something that's really cool about this drop, you know, usually when a knife company drops several a month, there's one or two that I just don't really care for as much as the other. And, you know, it's not one that I'm going to have in my pocket or not going to be one that I carry. The nice thing about this drop is all of these folding knives, every single one of them are total gems. They're total, like totally, dude, they're total wins. They're ones I'm going to carry. Now this is the Kizer Crest. Would you look at it? I mean, just look at it and all of its crestness. And this bad boy comes in S35VN blade steel, baby. Now, you might say, I don't know about those looks. Let me tell you about the ergonomics here in just a segunda. Let's look over here. S35VN. These are both frame locks. Let me show you this one. Oh, yeah. So you have your options. You can get the coated blade or the nice satin look. And this up here is so comfortable. This knife is comfortable in the hands, and I love how my thumb stops right in here. The jimping is adequate because I do have that harpoon. Anybody like a harpoon? So this is kind of like a harpoon sheep's foot going on. That's exactly what that is. That's a harpoon sheep's foot. Yeah, I know. Oh, the bottom's not flat. It has to be flat to be a sheep's. It's a sheep's foot. I mean, come on. And this has a pivot collar. This has a pivot collar. That has a pivot collar. You know, it'd be kind of neat if they had different pivot collar colors, just if you wanted some color for pop. Now, this is something that I think may dissuade some folks. It's not super speed holy, but they are kind of speed holy. You know, really ramps up your action when you're going, open up some Twinkies. And back here, you do have a big spot for a lanyard. Now, the ergonomics are great on both of these. The lockup is great on both of these. They're both solid. There's no blade play. And if you look right here, they are both dead centered. I mean, they're fantastic. Oh, and by the way, out of all of the knives that I've shown you, the best action is definitely the Crest as far as your drop shuttiness. And something really cool is a lot of times when you get a knife like this that has the coating, it won't be as droppy. Well, you know, Kizer, that's what they do. They're known for drop shuttiness and action for you, right? Look at that. Even this black coated one, this all murdered out one, has total drop sheddiness, and it's just so smooth. There's no hot spot. It's totally, why do I keep saying that? It's very comfortable. You could do a little bit of choking up here in this forward choil area, so you're good for sharpening all day long. And you do have plenty of room for the first part of your index digit. You can get in here to do a little cutting, you know, a little saw type action. This is, it's great. I'm just, listen, I'm going to say it one more time. I'm very happy and I'm very impressed that all of their drops this month, there's not one of those, you know, sometimes there's an outlier where you're like, yeah, that's okay. It's a new knife. I'm not super impressed. All 4 of these, all 6 of these, all 8 of these, they're all fantastic. I mean, they're that good. It's refreshing to get, you know, a big knife drop like this and not have to have one where you're like, well, that one has a hot spot, or well, that one doesn't feel good in my hands, or well, that one's good if you have small hands, or that one's good if you have big hands. You guys get what I'm saying, right? So here's the Bulldogs, and then there is the Crest and the Madrick. Here's all your folders. Oh my gosh, this is just, it's an epiphany. I always want to say cacophony. I don't even know what that word means, but that's the word that always wants to come out of my mouth when I'm trying to say charcuterie. But look at all these options. This is just freaking fantastic. This is a lot of cool knives. And you know, we will go more into them, more in depth during the live stream. And when you see my videos, there's a lot of folks they go months or years and they're like, yeah, I always hear you say come to the live stream. This is my first live stream. Oh my gosh, this is cool. This is very cool. And then they come back. It's like Cheers, where everybody knows your name. You can just come in and be like, hi everybody, you know, I'm carrying a butter knife, or whatever you say. People are not judgmental. We don't talk about politics or religion or anything like that. We just talk about knives and what knife do you want? What knife did you just get? What's your favorite knife? And if you followed my channel, you know we talk about flashlights. We talk about all that fun stuff. And Mrs. Beez comes down, the dog comes down. We do really nice giveaways every week. That's a lot of fun. But there you go. There is the March 2025 release from Kizer. And I'm going to be giving a special discount code on the live stream on Friday. So make sure you show up. Or if you don't, watch the replay or go down in the description, because I'll have that code down in there. So tell me what you think. Do you have a favorite out of all of these? Is that even possible? I mean, oh, I'm kind of leaning towards one of these right here, but this one is super comfortable for a user. Maybe this is more dressed up. And then if I'm really feeling Mr. Fancy Pants or what, something that has some drop sheddiness, maybe one of these. But before I talk anymore, let me know your favorite. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It actually does matter. Just go tap, just tap it in. It's your home. And then go watch this video, or go watch that video. And until I see you again in the lives or the chats or the hive streams, remember, live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.